Ever thought that your favorite snack or even your beloved smartphone could betray you with food poisoning? Think again. In this video, we're exposing the dark side of everyday items and foods that can secretly wreak havoc on your stomach. We'll journey through the science, the symptoms, and even some home remedies to get you back on your feet. Stay tuned, because what you're about to discover will change the way you see things around you. But before we jump in, please note that everything mentioned in this video is unbiased, fact-checked, and reviewed by qualified health professionals. What is food poisoning? It's safe to say we have experienced an upset stomach at least once in our lives. Food poisoning occurs when we ingest food or liquids that have been contaminated with various bacteria, viruses, or fungi. When ingested, these microorganisms release harmful toxins that trigger our bodies to activate defense mechanisms in the hopes of expelling these dangerous substances. And that is why, as a beneficial consequence, we experience fever, vomiting, and diarrhea. While some mild food poisoning may only manifest as temporary nausea or gastrointestinal upset, many also encounter muscle cramping, headaches, and high fevers. So with this in mind, let's delve into the weird things that'll give you food poisoning. Your phone. We all love to browse through social media platforms when visiting the restroom. It's the perfect way to pass the time. But the truth is, our phones could possibly be the secret culprits causing food poisoning. Yes, food poisoning. According to studies, our phones are the perfect vectors for countless microbes and pathogens. Whether we are taking a walk in the park or having a family dinner, our phones are constantly exposed to the surrounding environment. Not to mention how contaminated fecal matter can also wind up on our phone screens. Phone swab samples collected in 2023 showed how our smartphones carry pathogens such as Pseudomonas, E. coli, Staph aureus, and Bacillus bacteria. Certain strains of these microbes can be very dangerous and harmful to our bodies. For example, infection from the O157H7 strain of E. coli can cause bloody diarrhea, abdominal cramping, high fevers, and vomiting. As we often touch our faces throughout the day, it gives the microbes present on our phone screens an opportunity to transfer and end up near our mouths, creating a risk of potential infections. So remember to disinfect your phone regularly and refrain from using your device in restrooms. Potatoes. Are you a fan of French fries, tater tots, or baked potatoes? So are we. But surprisingly enough, potatoes are one of those weird foods that can cause sudden food poisoning. Potatoes are known to contain compounds called glycoalkaloids, which are produced within this brown vegetable. When potatoes are stored for a long time, particularly in sunlight, it allows glycoalkaloids to increase in concentration. High levels of these glycoalkaloids are very toxic to humans and can trigger food poisoning symptoms as soon as 30 minutes or up to 12 hours after ingesting. Mild symptoms can manifest as nausea, vomiting, or abdominal cramping, while severe glycoalkaloid poisoning can cause neurologic consequences such as drowsiness, confusion, or altered vision. To reduce the risk of glycoalkaloid poisoning, it's important to store potatoes in a cool, dry, dark place and not in the refrigerator. Consuming them promptly after purchase also helps avoid the buildup of these toxic compounds. And that's why it's best to enjoy your potatoes as soon as you bring them home. Raw pet food. Okay, have you ever bought a delicious looking treat or food for your pet only to wonder what it tastes like? Out of pure curiosity, some pet parents find themselves guilty of indulging in the occasional pet treat. According to the FDA, raw pet foods can contain foodborne bacteria and pathogens such as Salmonella or Listeria monocytogenes. Along with being particularly dangerous for humans, raw pet food diets are also discouraged by some studies, advising pet parents to avoid them. However, it's possible to protect yourself from foodborne bacterial infections by handling raw foods carefully, washing your hands thoroughly, and disinfecting all surfaces. It's also worth noting that to avoid cross-contamination, it's crucial to clean up pet food dishes right after your furry friends are done eating. This is particularly important when feeding raw food. Leafy greens. It might surprise you to know that leafy greens are a common cause of food poisoning. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, vegetables like lettuce, spinach, and cabbage, often contaminated with E. coli, salmonella, or norovirus, are responsible for numerous cases of foodborne illnesses. This is primarily due to the fact that we often eat these foods raw, so any bacteria present aren't killed through cooking. Washing them thoroughly under running water and using a produce brush can help remove some of the bacteria, reducing the risk. However, there's a silver lining. It's vital to store them at the right temperature and consume them before their expiration date to reduce the risk of an unexpected bathroom trip. Refrigerated foods. Even foods that we store in the fridge can be a source of food poisoning. Listeria is a bacterium that can grow in cold temperatures, unlike many other foodborne bacteria. Contaminated deli meats, cheese, and even ice cream can be sources of Listeria infection. Symptoms of a Listeria infection can include fever, muscle aches, and sometimes gastrointestinal symptoms such as nausea or diarrhea. If the infection spreads to the nervous system, symptoms could include a headache, stiff neck, confusion, loss of balance, or convulsions. Always ensure your refrigerator is at the correct temperature, below 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius, to minimize the risk. Flour. And the next weird thing that'll give you food poisoning is the main ingredient used in baking: flour. If you love to taste raw dough as you bake delicious cookies or brownies, then listen up. According to research, raw dough can be the host for pathogens such as Salmonella and E. coli, the leading microbes known to cause foodborne illnesses. In particular, flour is not a sterile product and could contain bacteria that survive the milling process. Consuming contaminated raw dough can create typical food poisoning symptoms, but beware of the serious complications, such as bloody diarrhea, severe dehydration, or altered mental status. Tips to cure food poisoning symptoms. So if you catch yourself feeling a bit queasy, here are some tips to cure your food poisoning symptoms and how you can approach food poisoning from home. Hydration. First and foremost, it's essential to hydrate your body during food poisoning. Episodes of frequent vomiting or diarrhea can lead to significant fluid loss from the body depending on the severity and duration of the poisoning. With high enough water loss, our bodies can become extremely dehydrated and vulnerable. Along with sipping on clear liquids such as juices or clear broth, you can also turn to oral rehydration solutions to keep your moisture levels at an optimal balance. Severe dehydration can pose serious health risks, such as heat injury, urinary and kidney problems, seizures, and even shock. Signs of severe dehydration include extreme thirst, less frequent urination, dark-colored urine, fatigue, dizziness, and confusion. Therefore, in the face of food poisoning, hydration is crucial. Remember to always seek medical help if symptoms persist or become severe. Food poisoning is not something to take lightly, and proper treatment is crucial for recovery. Brat diet. The next beneficial tip that can cure your food poisoning symptoms is what dietitians call the brat diet, consisting of bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast. The brat diet is very gentle on the stomach, and it contains essential minerals that can help your body alleviate symptoms of stomach cramping and diarrhea. Bananas and applesauce are known to soothe the stomach and reduce discomfort, while rice and toast have binding effects on the stool, helping to decrease the intensity of diarrhea. Not to mention how the brat diet consists of comfort foods that can be enjoyed in bed or on the couch. No anti-diarrheal medicine. The next tip is one of the most important things you can remember during bouts of food poisoning. It's very natural to want to seek relief from diarrhea after a couple of hours or days of suffering from an upset stomach. But unless indicated by a medical professional, it's extremely important to avoid anti-diarrheal medication. Loose and frequent stools are one of the ways our bodies can quickly expel dangerous toxins from our bodies. Taking anti-diarrheal medication can stop loose stools, but can also retain the toxins within our intestines, potentially leading to more serious health complications. So, as uncomfortable as it may be, it's often better to endure diarrhea than to risk retaining toxins in your body. But always consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist. And with these simple at-home remedies, we wrap our video. In our exploration today, we discovered surprising sources of food poisoning such as our phones, improperly stored potatoes, raw pet food, leafy greens, refrigerated foods, and raw flour. Despite these threats, we also discussed at-home remedies like hydration and the brat diet. Anti-diarrheal medications were discouraged unless prescribed by a professional. It's crucial to remember that mindful handling of food and everyday items can significantly mitigate the risk of food poisoning. Thanks everyone for watching. If you learned something new today, consider subscribing and comment down below what you want us to explore next.